Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for returning, or welcome if you are here for the first time. I'm very excited to go into another video. Today's topic is marriage. It's a very complex topic and there's a lot of things to talk about. But first, I think I have not changed my t-shirt since the last episode, which was shot a few days back, so give me a moment. Much better now. Thank you for your patience. First off, I am extremely excited after running the first pilot when I noticed I have received so many comments from the viewers, and if you don't mind, I'd love to share those with you because it's very exciting. I have received close to 1,000 comments, and to be specific, 997 of them were very similar, and they pretty much said this: you are boring. Thank you. I appreciate it. This one is very different, outstanding, so I'm gonna share with you as well. Boring! Exclamation point times 3. Wow. Wow, yeah. Fresh off the press, the newest one. So different. I got my Amazon package. And you are boring. Thank you. I truly appreciate it. I did not expect such overwhelming welcome and these comments. On a more serious, not so serious note, I just wanted to say that I intend to keep light perspective on this channel, even though the topics that I am gonna dive into and I'm diving into today is very serious. It is something that millions of us have been going through, and it could be very challenging emotionally, physically, and sometimes gets really deep inside of us. But we have to keep a light perspective. We have to smile, we have to laugh. I personally practice self-deprecating jokes. It works for me and I enjoy it, even though it may not be understood in general, but this is how I go about it. So, the reason why we're here, marriage. It is a very important topic because, as we all know, the divorce rate is devastating, and it keeps on going up and up. And most couples who have not been divorced, who are still married, possibly a large percentage, is not really living a happy life. For various reasons, whether it's children, whether it's convenience, whether it's material reason or anything else. We stay together, but we're not happy. There are some couples out there who are happy. I hope it's a large percentage, but we all know that marriage comes as a road with many bumps, hills, and twists and turns. Why do I talk about marriage? I mean, what experience do I have? I'm divorced. I had been married for almost 20 years, but I also work as a wedding photographer for the last 20 years and have documented possibly 7, maybe 800 weddings. So I had a privilege and a chance to experience that wedding day, that most exciting day, couple's life, many, many times. Not only documenting with my camera, but also being present behind the scenes and observing and watching the interactions for 10 to 12 hours on that big day. So that also gives me a very different, more natural perspective versus the theatrical version that we often get to see on social media. So, where does it start? A boy meets girl, girl meets boy, or any other way. Any other way, it's your choice. I don't have any restrictions or any preferences on that topic, but generally focusing on man and woman relationship, because in this channel I am focusing on men's perspective mostly. So we meet, we are excited, we enter that dating period. There's a lot of chemistry, there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of happiness. There may be occasional bumps, but it's not really the highlight. The highlight is the chemistry, the spring, ongoing spring. Even if we meet in the winter, hopefully we are feeling like spring. So it's great. The romantic part should be taking over, and hopefully never ends. But as we know, that starts fading away at some point. And before it fades away, hopefully, we decide, what do we do? Do we go for the next step? Do we get married? Because, that's the next step. Yeah, great. So we jump into planning for the big day, which is a lot. I mean, these days, planning a wedding is a huge task. It's absolutely overwhelming. The planning, the logistics that go into it are, wow. I know, I make a living documenting those events, so I do have an idea. But there's one more important thing, like maybe perhaps the most important. Okay, with all that planning, all that preparation, have we done the real homework, the heavy lifting homework that should actually decide whether we should plan for that wedding in the first place? What is it? Or it's about getting together and discussing the most important topics of our life together. The things that we'll be facing, the heavy lifters. Well, what am I talking about? Talking about things that we have to absolutely agree on and be on the same page and be co-partners working together. So what are these? Children, financial aspects, religion, moral values, interests, responsibilities. If we don't sit down and make sure that we absolutely match on those things, that we have one clear vision, and we jump into planning the wedding, we are actually risking that we're gonna make that divorce statistic. So what do we do? Do we just sit down, open that bottle of wine and, hey honey, what do you think about kids? I like kids. So do I. Well, check. Let's move on. Yeah, well, it's done. Well, hold on. I don't think it works like that. I think there's more complex questions that we should be asking. Okay, we like kids. We both want kids. That's great. But how many kids do we want? How do we raise them? How do we share responsibilities when we bring them home from the hospital? Do we talk about who gets up, who takes the turns, who changes the diapers, who goes to the doctor? Well, before we even get to that point, how do we work with each other before the kids or a child is born? Because a woman goes through a lot of changes and a lot of sacrifice through 9 months. I mean, yeah, it's all exciting, but that work should be while she's still pregnant. That mutual help shared with responsibilities, that should be working from day one. So these are the things that we should be discussing about. Well, that's children. What about our financial vision? Oh yeah, I mean, we all want a nice house, maybe a big house, maybe a shore house or vacation house. Or, well, yeah, that's great, so let's focus on a career. That's great, yeah. We work a lot, we're gonna achieve our dreams, but what happens to our relationship? If we just focus on that goal, what happens between us? We started so hot, romantic, and then turns out, well, our financial goals are so overwhelming that, well, we don't have time. We don't have time to look at each other. We don't have time to listen to each other. We don't have time to be present one with another, because there is always this bigger thing. And if we get to that stage before we decide to get married, before the children, and we are constantly out of time because we have those bigger obligations, I don't think we're on a healthy path. Are we doing anything together to unwind from all that everyday responsibility, those obligations, work, chores? Are we still talking? What about going to bed? Are we bringing a phone to bed? And the last thing that we see is that message board or funny video, and the same thing in the morning? Because it definitely wasn't at initial stages, but then many of us get to that point. Because it's important, that one text, we have to, because this deal is coming through or something. Yeah, there will be more deals, so many more deals. What about your deal? What about the two of you deal? Well, when the deal is going more sour and sour every day because other deals are more important, we're gonna make that statistic. So before we decide to start the big planning for the big day, we should really take serious approach and really have fun, enjoy life, but yet we have to sit down, maybe several times, and find out if we are on the same page. Well, we don't have to be ideally the same, but are we close? Are we even close one to another about those big things that we'll be facing in the future? If we're not, wow, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And, well, we can be a little bit off. It doesn't have to be exactly mirror reflection one to another. But if we are so much off, maybe there's a problem. But let's say that we have minor glitches. Okay, that's fine, that's normal. No, we are not the same. We process things differently, we have different emotions, different experience. It is fine. But how do we go into technicalities of that conversation? Okay, do we start a sensitive topic and the conversation goes on smoothly? Or we start a topic and, wow, we hit a wall. There's a disagreement. And all of a sudden there's a disappointment. Maybe the voices are raised. And maybe we no longer can continue with the topic because it could be very sensitive for one or another. Okay, sometimes it happens, it will be happening, it's normal. But where we go from that point? Do we come back and continue the same scenario? Well, if we do and it keeps repeating, well, there's an issue. Maybe it's a signal that this is not a good way to be on a path to that big wedding day, because we have serious communication issue and a respect issue. We can't listen to one another. We can't give that other person a chance. I think the only way for us to move forward with big plans is to agree, or if we don't agree initially, to have a respectful conversation where we actually come on the same page without big arguments, without times of disrespect, ignorance, avoiding, and constant fights. Because if this happens initially, chances are it's gonna get worse. So that is pre-wedding homework that we all have to do to make sure that we are really, really excited and on the same page and go to the next stage. Now about the wedding day. I see that in my line of work. We live in very polarized times where social media bombard us daily with things how they tell us how everything should be, including the wedding day. So I see that as an overwhelming process where women sometimes get lost in the detail, trying to perfect every part of the day just to make sure that it's a absolutely fairy tale day. But my take on it as a man, and I see that with the way men act, the way they say that, oh, I just want to show up, she took over everything. Well, yeah, a lot of times, because maybe there's too much attention on all the things that need to happen. But are they really that important? If the wedding day is about the two people getting married, maybe this is priority. I mean, I know, I get it. You want the biggest, the most exciting wedding day. But if this is taking such a huge toll, why start new life on such a bumpy path? Maybe just bring it a little bit down. Get that time with each other to a little higher quality level. It's not about how social media sees you on your big day. It's about the two of you being really excited one with another. So you make the decision. You get married for the social media or for the true feeling that you have inside one to another. Maybe women, it's not really important that you have to have everything top notch. Maybe a little bit less of this and that, but more happiness, so you are together on that planning process, so he's not absolutely exhausted with that planning process. Or on the flip side, men, you also have to participate, because there is some man that just, leave it everything up to the woman. No, that's your wedding day too, so maybe you also have to step up. Maybe it's too much on her shoulders. Okay, we got married. Wow, honeymoon. Exciting, everything, beautiful. And then reality kicks in and we go to the next process, which is like we usually focus on the career. And slowly and gradually, perhaps we start losing time one with another, because the career takes over, and our future plans, financial plans, maybe family plans require us to work so much, and we take a toll. That takes a toll on the relationship. If you want to really be in a healthy relationship, you can't just abandon the quality of time between the two of you. You have to disconnect from the work and chore environment on daily basis and be with each other. Talk to each other. Be romantic with each other. Put that phone away. Don't bring it to the bedroom. Don't make it the last thing you see and the first thing you see. Don't make it happen. Don't ever get to that point. Look at her, look at him. You should be looking at each other as the first and the last person, every day, every night. This is how you keep it healthy. Not the phone. Take vacations. Go to places. But talk about if the vacation is the vacation that both of you want, the type of vacation you both of you enjoy. Maybe take less selfies. Maybe hold your hand and look at each other in the eye. Maybe ask on those vacations how you really feel. How about that? The world doesn't need to know what you're eating for breakfast or beautiful dinner. How about you hold her hand before they actually bring the dish, and then kiss her when you start. How about that? So this is the things that we kind of like start walking away from, because the romance starts fading and the social media requires us to post this and that. No, it doesn't have to be like that. What is the next stage after that? Well, a lot of us decide, let's start a family, and it could be a natural point of your life, or the stage where things are going not that best, not that good, and maybe having children is a solution, you think. Well, if things are not going well, having children at that point is not solution, because you have to work and resolve the problems, because the children will take more time away from you and make you more tired, and therefore you will have less patience, less understanding for each other. So before you decide to grow your family, make sure you start on a healthy ground. Make sure you work out all the things about kids, that you know the details, so when you come back from that hospital, there is no surprises, there is no, oh, this is your turn, oh you forgot, or I'm tired, this and that. You should know your responsibilities, because it's gonna get tough, it's gonna get rough. But if you have worked the details and talked about and reminded about your responsibilities, how you're gonna handle, that's way easier than making them up on night 27, that you have the sleepless night and you are trying to push each other into that responsibility that night. So this is a much healthier way. This is a way where you work together, and you can face any challenges that having larger family brings. It is exciting. It should be exciting. It should be absolutely amazing time. But if you don't work on the details, that will fade away. That will feel like a chore. That beautiful bundle of joy that you bring from the hospital, or two of them or three of them, will feel like just a chore that you have to do. But don't ever get to that point. What happens next? Children grow, years go by. How are you doing? Are you keeping the healthy relationship? Are you able to step away from that constant career, financial goal point of view? Do you still go out? Well, if you don't, maybe it's not the best between the two of you. Are you still excited about each other? Like for real? Do you feel that excitement? Because this is something you have to keep working at all the time. Being married is not about beautiful, exciting days. It's like going through the mountains, up and down, which is a normal part of life. And we have to handle the good and bad days. We have to work on them. How do we work? How do we make it work? There's a lot of compromise that we have to do. But at that point, when you are at that stage, it's a little compromise. Because if you have not worked initially on the big details, you get to that point where you may have to compromise on huge things. And when you are married for a few years and have few children, and that at that point it's way too late to compromise on huge issues that you should have worked on or should have talked about before getting married. So that's all why we always go to initial homework. That should be the first stage before we decide to get married. And what about the next stage, when children start the teenage years? Wow. That is steroid of tests, of family tests, because that little bundle of joy is suddenly talking back, and it's not nice. It's really not nice sometimes. So this is the time where you really have to work together, because teenagers will take all the weaknesses. They will focus on all the moments they can to get what they want, because naturally they're not capable of much empathy. The world is about them. You are not really a part of it in many cases. So this is what they want, and that's it. So if you are not on the same page, wow, you run into big trouble. Raising kids requires both parents to work together all the time, especially when you have teenagers, because they will be testing you every single day. So here's the thing, what do men do in that? This is the time, especially the time when you as a man step in more and set the rules as a man. You're not gonna be on the phone past this time. You're gonna check in. You're gonna tell me. Where are you going? Who are you going with? You have to know. That's being a dad. You have to know. Protection changes. You have to know where your kids are at 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. on the phone. Why are they on the phone at 1 a.m.? That's part of your protection. That's what you should be doing. Well, we work a lot. Yeah, well. So why did you decide to have kids if you just constantly working, busy? I know there's different family situations, financial situations where you may have to work so much. But many times if you live in New York, New Jersey, California area, you may have a decent job. You may be okay. Maybe you pushing too hard. That's the level that you don't really have to go above. Maybe this is the time you scale back and focus more on the family. But if you don't know what's going on with your teenagers, maybe you're not doing your parental work. So that's more of a man's responsibility. And what's wives? The way I see it, if you are lucky to have a man who takes those responsibilities on, stick with his plan. Work together. The worst thing you can do is sabotage him. If he sets certain rules, you should both discuss the rules. But let the man take the charge. Do not go behind his back and you know what, Daddy said the rule, no phones after 10. I agree with him, but let's not tell him. I'll give another hour. Or, you can have that extra sleepover. No, you don't do that. You work together. You tell the kids, yeah, I agree with your father. We both agree. Yeah, we discussed this. He told you, we told you. I agree with him. Don't make him the bad guy and you are the nice parent going behind the back and just giving kids what they want. Don't. This is gonna create a disaster just waiting to happen. It will come back in a bad way, stab you both in your backs and scar kids for life. Don't do that. Well, on the flip side, if guys are focusing more on work or whatever else they are doing, and the wife has to be the bad guy, doing everything and carrying out the responsibilities, maybe it's time for you to wake up and take the charge, because that's your role. You gotta be the man of the house. How is she gonna give you respect if you don't do that? You deserve the respect, but you have to do the work, take the charge to earn that respect. And when you do that, yeah, I hope your wife sees that and gives you that respect, shows that respect in front of the kids. How are they gonna be respectful back if they don't see that respect happening in front of them? If they don't see love between the two of you? They have to be present in the example that you carry out. I would like to talk about this sentence that is often said on a wedding day. The advice that is given. How do you live 45 years together? And many couples say, happy wife, happy life. I personally, when I hear that, it's not even funny. It's the saddest joke of a marriage that you can say, because what it says actually is the life ends for the man, and it's all about wife's happiness. So basically, your work is to make her happy, and you don't really exist. So it's don't ever get to that point. Married life is life living equally. Both of your needs are important. You have to be partners together. You have to talk a lot. You have to be able to disconnect from the daily noise, especially from that social media noise where you're bombarded so much with so much nonsense and all those directions that they set for you that you have to follow because so many people are following. Maybe you have to change people around you, because if you have people that are so obsessed about the standards that social media sets, and you are trying to keep up with them, maybe changing the surroundings, your friends will help, because then you will come and find others that have different standards, different goals, that are more realistic, more healthy. Well, social media, that's a huge topic, and I think I'm gonna create a whole episode about that, how it influences our life, how much destructive force it has on all of us, not just kids, not just teenagers, but all of us. But in closing, I would like to say that, deciding on that wedding day and life together is not easy, but it could be beautiful, absolutely beautiful, an amazing experience, especially when you decide to have children. But it requires a lot of work prior. Open mind, discussion, and tackling really important issues. If you don't do that, if you do not put that initial work into it, the chances are you will not be successful. By the way, if you hear noises in the background, that's just the paid content from my advertisers. So, life together can be beautiful, gratifying, electrifying, fulfilling, but we can't go into it blindly. We have to come with open mind and address things, even if we're not comfortable to talk about them. We have to do that because it will eliminate a lot of disappointment, a lot of troubles. Maybe she's the prettiest and he's the best muscle guy or haircut or whatever else, or smartest, and maybe she has all those degrees and maybe this and that, whatever, but maybe you are not meant for each other if you don't agree on the most important aspects. Attraction doesn't mean happy life. It's an initial stage, but it will fade away. It will fade away if you don't agree on important things. Thank you for stopping by again, and I will have another episode talking about our hobbies, our friends, which are super important for our lives, why we have to be engaged in those. And I will probably make more episodes about marriage, about different times of our married life, because it's a such huge, deep subject. And I think I just touched the tip of it. But, well, thank you very much again, and see you next time.